Hello students, welcome to the third part of our second chapter of economics, sectors of the Indian economy. In the previous parts of this chapter, we classified the sector on the basis of nature of activity and we learnt about the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. We also discussed a few questions and the next part we compared the three sectors and got the valuable knowledge of gross domestic product. So, in this part of the chapter, we'll be discussing a very important topic which is going to be asked in your exams, disguised unemployment. So, let's start the topic. So, we saw that the tertiary sector has suddenly gained importance since last few years. In 1973, my primary sector contributed a lot to the gross domestic product of the country. But by 2003, my tertiary sector became the most important sector in terms of gross domestic product. We also discussed a few reasons why the tertiary sector could have gained importance. So you will see that while there has been a change in the share of the three sectors in GDP, a similar shift has not taken place in employment. In 1973, you can see that the primary sector contributed the most to the share of gross domestic product. But by 2003, my tertiary sector is giving the most important contribution in the gross domestic product of the country. But when we talk of employment in 1973 as well as by 2000, my primary sector employs the most number of people of the country. So we see that most of the people are still engaged in the primary sector. So what does this mean? Though a shift has taken place in GDP from primary to tertiary sector, a similar shift has not taken place in case of employment. So this means that there are more people in the primary sector than necessary. We don't need these much people to work in this sector, but they are still engaged in the agriculture. The reason could be that not enough jobs are being created in the secondary and tertiary sectors. So even if you move few people out, the production won't be affected in my primary sector. So in other words, the workers in this sector are underemployed. This is a new term for you, underemployment. So the people engaged in agriculture, they actually can be moved to any other sector to get more income, but still they are engaged in primary sector. So it means that they are underemployed. Let's understand this with an example of Lakshmi's story. Lakshmi is a small farmer and she owns 2 hectares of unirrigated land and she is dependent only on rain and growing crops like jowar and arhar. The 5 members of her family are working in the plot throughout the year. All the 5 members are working in the same 2 hectares plot of land. Why? Why all the 5 members are working in the same plot of land? Because they have nowhere else to go for work. They don't have any job. So in this case, we see that none remains idle. All are working, but their labor effect, effort gets divided. They all are working, but they are working less than their capacity. So each one is doing something, but no one is fully employed. So this is the case of underemployment. All the members of her, all the 5 members of Lakshmi's family are not employed. Some of them are underemployed. So this is also called disguised employment. Why it is called disguised employment? Because in this kind of underemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployed. You see, some people are unemployed, and in this case also, the people are actually unemployed, but it looks like they are doing something and they are earning something. But even if we remove them, our production won't be affected. Now, suppose a landlord named Sukhram comes and hires 1 or 2 members of the family of Lakshmi to work on his land. So, Lakshmi's family would now be able to earn some extra income through wages by the 2 people working in Sukhram's field. And since you do not need 5 people to look after the 2 hectares of unirrigated land that Lakshmi has, the production on their farm won't be affected. So in the other in this example, people may move to work in a factory also. The two of them, even if Sukhram is not giving them job, they can move to a factory to work. Once again, the earnings of the family would increase and they would also continue to produce as much from their land. So there are lakhs of farmers in our country like Lakshmi. So this means that even if we remove a lot of people from agriculture sector and provide them job in other any of the other sectors, but the production or the share of GDP won't be affected, and these people who are underemployed in the primary sector would get more income by working in any of the other sectors. So this underemployment case is not specific to the primary sector. It can also happen in urban areas also in the case of tertiary or secondary sector. Like you have people working in urban areas who search for daily employment. They are dependent on daily wages. Like you have painters, plumbers, and repair persons who work on daily employment. So they may spend the whole day working, but they earn very little. So this is also the case of underemployment. So how do we distinguish between open unemployment and disguised unemployment? In the case of open unemployment, people have the potential to work, but they are not able to find jobs. And such an employment is clearly visible. You can easily identify whether the person is actually unemployed or not. But in the case of disguised unemployment, more number of people are employed than required. We don't need that much people to work, but still they are engaged in the activity. So the labor effort is getting divided. And such employment is hidden. You can't easily make out whether the person is actually unemployed or is really doing some work and earning something. So the most common types of underemployed workers are skilled workers in low paying jobs. If you have the skill and you are working in low paying jobs, that is an example of underemployment. And some skilled workers are working in low skill jobs. It means they have the skill, but their skill is not required in the work they are doing. So, this is also an example of underemployment. And some part time workers preferring full time hours. This is also an example of underemployed worker. Now, let's see a question of reasoning and assertion related to this disguised unemployment. So, we discussed in the previous part also that you will be given a statement and a reason explaining your statement, and you have to make out whether your reason is explaining your assertion or not. So, let's read the statement. Disguised unemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployed. Everyone is working, no one is fully employed. And the given reason is, in actual fact, labor effort gets divided. So you have to check whether your assertion is correctly explaining, whether your reason is correctly explaining your assertion or not. If yes, then you can mark the first option right. And if both assertion and reason are true, it means this is also right and this is also right, but the reason is not explaining my assertion. Then you can take the second option. If A is correct but R is wrong, then you can correct the C option. And if A is wrong but R is correct, you can take the last option. So these are your types of reasoning and assertion questions. Now, the next thing is, how do we create more employment? We saw that most of the people in the primary sector are underemployed. So, how do we provide them employment? How do we increase the economy of our country? There can be many steps that can be undertaken by the government, like government can invest money on transportation and storage of crops. Banks can provide cheap loans to poor. Governments can spend money to construct a well and irrigate the land. This would increase the farmers' production in their small pieces of land. And if the government encourages children, you'll see that most of the children are still not going to school and they are engaged in various activities to get some income for their family. So if the government would encourage the children who are not joining schools to join schools, that would create more employment in the education sector. You'll need more teachers and more staff members to provide education to these children. So that would increase the employment in education sector. Other method can be that government can locate industries in semi-rural areas. If government locates some industries in the semi-rural areas, people who are engaged in their farms and they are under disguised unemployment, they are disguisedly unemployed, they can take up jobs in the industries and get some income for their family. In that way also government can help to create more employment. And for improving health conditions, we may need more people as doctors and nurses. In the previous chapter of economics development, we know that the main motive of government should be to provide more healthcare facilities and education facilities to the citizens of the country. So if the government wants to improve the health conditions, you will need more doctors and more nurses to provide them better health conditions. So in that case also government will be providing more employment to people. They can work as doctors, they can work as nurses. So these are few things that can be done to increase employment. Now let's see some questions from this part of the chapter. Underemployment continues to be rampant in the rural areas. Suggest and explain any three ways through which employment for rural people can be generated. This question can be asked for 3 marks. Other question can be how more employment can be created in rural areas. Support the answer with 3 points. This is also a question for 3 marks. What is disguised unemployment? This is direct definition and you can answer this for 1 mark. Distinguish between open unemployment and disguised unemployment. I made here a table to explain the open unemployment and disguised unemployment. You can explain it this way, depending on the marks for how many marks the question is being asked. Next question is where is the disguised unemployment mostly found? This is also a question of 1 mark. So you should know that where the disguised unemployment is mostly found, it is mostly found in the agriculture sector because people working in agriculture sector don't have other alternative to work or other opportunities in the secondary and tertiary sector. So the mostly the people of disguised unemployment are found in your agriculture sector. So the methods that we discussed here, like government can invest money on transportation, government can construct well, government can encourage children to join schools, and government can work on improving the health conditions of the people. Is that some of the suggestions that I've explained here would take a long time to implement. Like if you're constructing a well or if you want to encourage people or make aware people about the health and education facilities, it would take some time. So what can be done in short term? What if we need some quick measures? For that, in that condition, the central government in India recently made a law implementing the right to work in 200 districts of India, and it is called the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, NREGA in short. In 2005, this was implemented. So, under this act, all those who are able to and are in need of work are guaranteed 100 days of employment. It means government will be providing them 100 days of employment in 1 year. That would make employment easier for people and they could work somewhere. They can work somewhere and get some money and increase their incomes. And what if government fails to provide employment? Though government has promised under this act that we will give you 100 days of employment, but what if government fails? In that case, government will give unemployment allowances to people. It means some money will be given to people if government fails to give them 100 days of employment. So government will be working hard to provide each and every person who is in search of work or who needs work to give him 100 days of employment. So that's what we discussed about disguised unemployment. In the next part of this video, we'll be classifying the sectors of economy on the basis of another important part, that is organized and unorganized sector. Thank you.